Everybody, is your boy Muse, and you know what time it is. It is time to check what are or who is the must pull of 2.3. Alright, let's get right into it, and we're gonna start off with Lucia. Now, once again, now that we know what Lucia does, and we know for sure that she was, in fact, rupture support, or is in fact rupture support, you might suspect that she is a must pull. However, at this current moment, don't get me wrong, she could easily become a must pull, but at this current moment, she's still just valid. Now, why is Lucia valid when Astra and Yuzua are must pulls? It's because Lucia really only helps 3 characters, while Astra helps the majority of Zenless, and Yuzua, who you would think is locked into Anomaly, helps also a majority of characters. Because Lucia gives an attack buff, and most Zenless characters want attack. Astra just helps the whole game, except Hugo for some reason. Now, the problem with Lucia, if you do not account for her sheer force buffs, all she is truly giving is 20% damage increase, 30 crit damage, and 18 res down if you have her Wenjin. And of course, I believe 5% HP from her Veil, but nobody cares about that HP besides Rupture agents. So, because she is locked behind 3 characters, that just means she's valid. Next, we have Viven. And when it comes to Anomaly, Viven is the ultimate sub DPS. You can match Viven up with anyone, and that's why she is a must pull. If your account is Anomaly focused, Viven is a must pull. Now, me personally, let's say I'm on a budget with my polychromes. If I have Yuzua and I need to start my Rupture team, I would skip Viven, right? Because this is why coverage is very important, people. Because I need to cover my account. And as we all saw in 2.2, the big upset, right? We noticed how many people truly just had Anomaly teams. Because no one was prepared for the Defiler. No one had an attack character, or had good attack characters for the Defiler. And there was a big upset in the community. This is why your coverage is important, everyone. Which brings me to my next point. Yadhari is a coverage. Ice Rupture. You can go after Yadhari, because listen, if I wasn't doing my challenge, she looks good enough that I would go after her. However, I think my account would have had a Miyabi since I love Yanagi so much. So I think I would have skipped her. Unless I was rich or feel like spending. Right? But Yadhari is a coverage. Now, Yadhari is something, or is someone I would think hard about, right? Phrasing. You need to sit down and think about Yadhari, everyone. She is Ice. She is Rupture. 2 Void Hunters already cover what Yadhari can do. You have the Rupture Void Hunter, you have the Ice Void Hunter. And even if Rupture bosses are going to be a problem for Miyabi, if you have any character that ignores defense or puts defense down, you can essentially fight any Rupture boss, right? And everyone has a Nicole. Everyone has a Nicole. Anytime my Ju Yuan had to go against Miasma, she does amazingly well. Because she has Nicole. If you have Trigger with her Wenjin, you'll be fine. If you picked up Orphe, which I want to bring up because she's still currently on the banner. Now, remember, I did put Orphe in coverage. However, I did not account for how strong Orphe would be on her own. Orphe is a valid pull. As long as you have Aftershock in your account, Orphe is a valid pull. Because Orphe puts defense down on Aftershock and prolongs the attack buff with anyone who uses their Aftershock. Now sure, if your main DPS doesn't have Aftershock, it's only a slight problem because Orphe is still right behind them, hitting the enemy with plenty of defense down, especially if you have Orphe's Wenjin. Now you have even more defense down for whatever reason. And if you just so happen to have Orphe's M1, that's just diabolical, because now you have defense down and fire res. If you feel like Orphe would be a better pull for you and your account than anyone coming in 2.3, I say go for it. However, there is still a stipulation. When it comes to main damage dealers, Orphe really only helps out Sambi. But because Orphe is so powerful as a sub DPS, and depending on who you pair her up with, albeit Trigger, Viven, yes, Orphe can help out Anomaly because she gives attack buffs and defense down. There's no crit in her kit outside of the one she gives herself, which is 25%, right? Anomaly wants attack, and Anomaly doesn't mind the defense down. Do with that information as you will, because the team I've been using is Yuzua, Orphe, and Bernice, and I did not expect it to perform as well as it has. Next we have Jufufu, and I will say she is a coverage stunner, because I'm gonna be honest with you. Lighter, Xingyi, Trigger, all solid options. And if you have those characters, you don't necessarily need Jufufu. Jufufu does help with ulting, but honestly, you have to decide whether that is truly important to you. And let's welcome back Monato, everybody. You'll be getting plenty of mindscapes of this man going after Lucia. And in fact, this is another thing going against Yadhari. If you want to save your pulls, go after Lucia. You'll get some copies of Monato. Bam, that's a team right there. And then you just pair these two up with whatever stunners you have. And if you have a Jufufu, amazing. And Monato will hold you over until there are other stun options or until Yi Xuan's rerun. You're good to go. Now, who else is on the banner currently? I believe it's Evelyn. Evelyn is still a solid coverage pull. Great DPS. You'll be doing numbers. However, I wonder why Evelyn specifically came back. I mean, I understand we got a new fire attacker, sure, but why Evelyn specifically? It makes me feel like there's something around the horizon. But enough with the skepticism. These are my thoughts. Viven is the must pull because she goes with any Anomaly character. She makes all Anomaly great. Okay? You have a Jane you still want in the meta? Viven, if you don't have Alice. You have a Grace that you want to do tricks on the battlefield? Viven. Viven will boost your Anomaly characters up to the next level, and then Yuzua will take them up a whole nother level on top of that. So, next we go to Lucia. Once again, as of right now, I cannot graduate Lucia to the must pull because we only have 3 options. 3 options for... I don't know why I'm going up to Viven when Yishuan's down here. We only have 3 options when it comes to Rupture. And one of them's a 4-star. If none of these people are who you're interested in, wait on Lucia. I understand waiting for a rerun can be a little hard, but it's better that if you have no one in mind to use Lucia with, unless you want to hold over with Monato, because that is a good plan, you pull Lucia, use your Monato while you have him, and then when a future Rupture DPS comes along, bam, you're set. Next, we have Orphe, who graduated from coverage because the amount of people she can team up with and the amount of damage she performs. And she makes the Astral voice set a must if you team her up with the right people. Orphe is indeed amazing. Way more amazing than I gave her credit for. Next, we have Evelyn. You know how I am with DPSs. Listen, I don't care if Evelyn were to one-punch man anybody. DPSs will always fall sooner or later. When it comes to DPSs, you should be worried about the coverage of your DPS. Evelyn covers the fire attack. You can't think of Orphe as covering your fire attack because she's more of a support. Next, we have Jufufu. Once again, she's a coverage. Now, usually, when it comes to stunners, I would say they're more of a valid or must pull, but because we already have a fire stunner and we already have an aftershock stunner, the only thing she's really giving us are ults, right? She's helping us on the ult side. We're okay, alright? I'd rather have my defense down trigger. I'd rather have Lighter putting fire res and ice res down. He's helping two different types of teams. Jufufu is a good stunner, yes, but when you have someone like Ching Yi who's still able to help Yi Xuan, you can save your pulls. Next, we have Yadhari. And another thing about Yadhari, I know there are certain players who doesn't like the whole playing with your HP playstyle. I'm one of those players. I'm sorry if it sounds like I'm hating on Yadhari. I'm not trying to, guys. It's just she has so many things against her. But she's still going to be a solid coverage. And you know that she's going to be shielded for a good while because we are getting a Lycon replacement that will probably help out Rupture, which means Ice Rupture is going to be looking good for a while. Take that information as you will. And then we have our boy Monato. I keep trying to call him Yamato for some reason. But yeah, our boy Monato. Yeah. And he got a skin, everybody. Look at our boy. Thanks for watching, everybody. If you made it this far into the video or you find my points valid, go ahead and hit the like button. If I won the 50-50 to your heart, go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Otherwise, you don't have to do either of these things. I just appreciate you for showing up. Good night.
See you later, too.